Welcome everyone. I hope you guys can hear me. Welcome to the Linea community call of July. We're super exciting to have you guys here, and yeah, let's kickstart. So what are we going to do today? We will go through different agenda items, and yeah, we're super excited to have you here. Just a quick housekeeping because we're going through the agenda. There is a quick chat button that you guys can ask questions, and for any question that you guys have, feel free to put in the chat or just DM us, and we'll making sure that we are responding to your question while we're going through the community call. So we will do some of the we do quick an introduction, then we just go through the EthCC highlights, so what happens in the last couple of weeks, and then we're going through with Edwin the Linea gas API. It will be quite an exciting session, and I'm looking forward to hear some news on the gas API side. Then, as always, we're going through the some of the hackathon winners that we had during the past weeks. For this specific, we will have Konstantinos speaking about his project SafeSend that they won the June developer cook-off. That's basically like a virtual hackathon, monthly hackathon that we're hosting on HackQuest. And that's basically like for every month is like that. And then super exciting, Linea ENS. That's something that we've been working for a while, and we will have Arthur Remy speaking about that, and then we finish up with some recap of the Linea culture season with Mélen. So without further ado, I will welcome before actually welcoming Edwin. Let's go through a little bit the EthCC highlights, just for giving you a context before we're moving to what's coming before post EthCC. So this Linea community call are a mix for has the goal to really provide the platform for all the community partners, to the hackathon winners, to everybody that is building on Linea, to see what is happening around the Linea ecosystem, the Linea users, the Linea developers, what is happening with all our voyages and campaign and the product updates. So feel free really to ask questions. Also, if you have new topics that you want us to speak about, this is the right moment to go through and debate those new topics. So regarding EthCC, so for anybody that didn't went to Brussels, so EthCC was one of the biggest ecosystem events around not just Ethereum but around the full Web3, and it's touching both builders, developers, users in our ecosystem. And we were quite active, right? We did bunch of events around. We hosted a lot of events in this venue called Linea Voyage Waypoint, where we hosted different events with different companies, and was very exciting. So I think we shared also different recaps video for everybody to check it out, and I think was a great way really to embrace all the great updates that within the Linea and the consistent ecosystem are happening, but also within the builder ecosystem. So a lot of hackers, a lot of developers, a lot of users, a lot of investors, and it was really great to see. We hosted different events, I think around 15 or something, but the best part was definitely this Linea Voyage Waypoint. So basically, just to give you an idea, for every day there were something 4 concurrent events, and I think overall we were trying to pull these stats, but overall we invited more than 200 people around the ecosystem to really speak about what they're building in the ecosystem, and I think was really cool. I really liked Linea live on Linea. Builder Days was a full developer workshops where people actually came and presented within their tech stack. On-chain security on MetaMask Spotlight and Linea, that was also super interesting. There was also a smaller VC gathering for all the ecosystem partners and scale startups that were they're part of this program. So if you also want to be part of this program, feel free to reach out. Linea Voyage Waypoint, the opening night was really interesting. We had good chats and good panels, and then also we had different co-partner events like the VS Day during, I think it was Thursday, and then build with AVS. That was actually like quite interesting. And yeah, so at the end of the big ECC events was also like the hackathon. That was actually like quite interesting. Was actually quite huge. So ETH Global Brussels happening the last 2 days. There were more than like 1,500 like hackers. A lot of like project being submitted. A lot of people also like deploying on Linea. And the most interesting part is that you can definitely like shout. Show some of the workshops. Like we put a link here that also like our colleague can share, but also like Eric Bichard did a great workshop on SDK deploying his DApp on Linea. So for anybody that wanna check it out, feel free to really like go and it's on Linea build on the YouTube video, and it's just there and quite ready to go. So what else? I think like we wanted to share before we're moving like to there were quite some insights. I really like this article from Kingsley, and I can share this one. But basically, like there were 5 insights from ECC 2024, where basically like Kingsley is speaking about different like add-on topic, where for example like people were really like pushing a lot of like infra concept, less kind of like things around consumer products were shown. Also like the MetaMask delegation toolkit was launched. That's also like quite interesting. I think we will speak about it in the August community call. And then different kind of a topic. So if you have time, really like will be great that you're checking this out, because I think like Kingsley is providing really great updates around post conference lesson learned. And it's just a great way to also show what is happening around our ecosystem, both IRL and both non-IRL. Okay, sounds good. Let's then move forward to our second, our first speaker, Edwin. I will invite you on stage. And while we're doing, I think you want to screen share your screen, but feel free to introduce yourself, tell us a little bit what you do, and exciting about really hearing this introduction about layer 2 gaps. And yeah, welcome.
Oh, thanks for the great intro. My name is Edwin Chan, and I am part of the Linea enablement team. And for today's presentation, we will be talking about how gas works on Linea. And the purpose of today's presentation really is to give everyone a minimum level understanding of what gas is, how it works on Ethereum, how it works on Linea and why it's different. We cover the importance of why it is important to get your gas estimations as accurate as possible. And at the end, we'll finally cover how we will actually estimate gas on Linea. And I will end with an illustrative example to show you what that looks like. So a quick recap on gas. What is gas? Well, gas is the cost a user has to pay to ensure that their transaction makes it onto the blockchain. More specifically, gas is paid to validators as an incentive for them to want to verify your transaction. And this is important because the process to getting on-chain is not actually on a first come, first served basis. It is on a who is willing to incentivize me more to publish your transaction first kind of basis. So therefore, no gas means no incentive, which means no verification and no transaction. So as you can see, gas is actually a fundamental feature to what makes a blockchain a blockchain. So let's dive a little bit deeper into how this actually works and how it's calculated on Ethereum. Well, after EIP 1559 went live late 2021, the whole gas fee calculation and structure actually fundamentally changed on Ethereum. Gas is now calculated via 3 distinct variables. The base fee, which is the minimum amount required per unit of gas, and this varies depending on the available capacity and the network traffic at that moment in time. The priority fee, which is the amount you are willing to give to incentivize the validators directly, and the units of gas used, which is the total units of gas that you will require to complete your transaction based on the complexity of it. So why was EIP 1559 needed in the first place? Well, before EIP 1559, the gas price was actually just a fixed fee. The more you were willing to pay, the higher the chance you were willing to, well, not willing, but the higher the chance you were able to cut the queue in a high congestion situation. But this is very inefficient and caused things to be unnecessarily expensive. I'm sure we've all heard of the term gas war, right? So their solution was to actually introduce an approach where the user set the maximum amount that they were willing to pay, and depending on the network congestion, the gas fee would be dynamically balanced between the base fee and the current going rate for the priority fee. So users would then only pay the minimum amount necessary within a range that they were comfortable with. So how does gas work on Linea? Well, the overarching ethos is still the same on Linea. No gas means no incentive for validators, which means no verification and no transaction. But the difference itself lies in what the gas is instead used for. So not only is now the gas of getting your the cost of getting your transaction verified on Linea, but it also includes the cost of your transaction getting secured on Ethereum mainnet. But wait, that sounds like it would cost more and not less. Well, yes, the gas is now expected to cover more variables. However, it still works out cheaper for the user via an economies of scale like mechanism. So instead of 1,000 transactions paying gas 1,000 times on Ethereum, what happens is on Linea is that you will have 1,000 transactions batched together and rolled up into one transaction that is then submitted to be secured onto Ethereum. So instead of paying gas 1,000 times separately, on Linea, you just pay gas once in one transaction that represents the underlying 1,000 transactions. So let's get a little bit more technical again then, shall we? How is gas different on Linea? Well, structurally, the calculation is exactly the same. However, what is different is actually how the variables are defined on Linea. On Ethereum, the base fee is the key variable. However, on Linea, the base fee is fixed, and the priority fee is now the key gas variable. A variable that now changes over time and according to the complexity of your transaction. So you may be wondering, why is it important to get your gas fee estimates as accurate as you can? The user pays for it, not me. Well, if you're a builder and your goal is to build a great product, then the great product comes with it a great user experience. So not letting your users wait too long to get the transactions through or have an unnecessarily expensive experience is actually a key part of your development process. So for the best user experience possible, make sure your gas price estimates are as accurate as it can be. So how do you actually do that then? Well, on Linea, we actually have a dedicated Linea Estimate Gas RPC API endpoint that will go live later this week. And with this method, we can estimate the total amount of gas required for sending a transaction. And the great thing about this is that estimating gas on Linea is actually easier than it would be on Ethereum. How so? Well, on Ethereum, to estimate the total gas price for a transaction, you would actually need to call two endpoints, the ETH estimate gas endpoint and the ETH gas price endpoint. And you need to call them separately. Whilst on Linea, the Linea estimate gas endpoint actually gives you the total estimated gas for a transaction in one go, returning it into a breakdown of the total units of gas required, the base fee, and the priority fee. And because of this and how these three gas calculation variables are defined differently on Linea, the Linea estimate gas will actually give you a much more accurate estimate when compared to using the standard ETH endpoints. Now let's show you what you need to call this endpoint. The endpoint, the Linea estimate gas endpoint, actually takes exactly the same parameters as ETH estimate gas. Everything is actually optional apart from the transaction call object itself. Now, let's see what this would look like if you were to run it yourself. For illustrative purposes, this is what it would look like if you ran a curl request for the Linea estimate gas endpoint in your CLI. And at the bottom, this is the JSON response you would expect to see returned. Now you know. Well, now you know how gas works on Linea and why it is important. Thank you for making it to the end with me. And if you are interested in learning more, I have attached some references for you, and they can be accessed when the slides are shared. Thank you very much. My name is Edwin, and back to you, Francesco.
Oh, thank you so much, Edwin. I think like you will share the slides also like later, right? A bunch of people are asking in the chat.
Yes, I noticed. Oh, thank you for paying attention, guys. Yeah, the
Yeah,
slides will be
it was a
shared
great
afterwards.
presentation. Question, like, what's can you deep dive a little bit more on the EIP, like kind of like difference? Because I know there is different like upgrades in terms of like gas fee transaction handling based on the new EIP proposals. But is there something that you want to talk more about?
Not particularly, in the sense that now that EIP 1559 has come live, nobody actually really gets a choice as about how gas is calculated, but it's more along the lines of how you then optimize it in the framework that is now provided. Luckily for us, and I'm sure it was by design on purpose as well, is that gas is calculated structurally as a formula in exactly the same way as it is on Ethereum. And that makes it easier for builders. But EIP 1559 was the biggest change in how gas was treated on Ethereum since forever, really.
Makes sense. And I know that this probably is a question that you're getting a lot, but then, with this kind of like, endpoint upgrade, like where we stand with the Linea gas fee transactions, like can we define like a range around the reduction? I remember like back in January we were speaking about a 60% also like transaction fee reduction, right? With this, is this like improving, or this is mostly for like also like developers on interacting with those APIs?
Well, this particular piece of training or this presentation was more around the importance of getting it right for a smooth user experience for developers. But I can't actually tell you the how much gas is reduced when you use Linea as opposed to mainnet. But I can tell you that it's almost pennies to the dollar type level of gas reduction. So Linea really, if you want to have an application that's cheap, fast, and secure, it doesn't make sense to use mainnet anymore because it's just so expensive nowadays.
Yeah,
right?
100%. And in terms of like handling, I remember I was using, I'm still using like Infura. I remember that you touched a little bit like before how it was with the Linea estimate. In theory, people can go through like Linea directly, but they can still go through like Infura too, right?
Absolutely. Well, you definitely need a node service provider. This is not something you can do yourself unless you are either a node yourself or a validator. So for us, obviously, we will use Infura to access these things.
Sounds good. So before like we're jumping off, like what anything else that is coming next on the gas fee upgrades?
Not that I'm aware
share,
of,
of
but
course.
hopefully, well, not that I'm aware of that will really shake things up as big as the change in 2021. But I do know everything that we're working towards now is to make things more stable, to reduce the volatility in your gas fees, make it more predictable, and make it as cheap and as secure as possible. And the more people that are on this network, the cheaper it will be in the long run.
Nice. Sounds good. Yeah, that's a great way to close this part. Awesome. Thank you so much, Edwin. And yeah, let's make sure
Thank
also
you.
like we share the slide with the audience. And yeah, like
Sure
looking
thing.
forward to know more. By the way, any specific resources, any blog posts that you guys been working on that we can share?
Apart from the slides and the references attached within them, nothing specific in terms of blog posts. Mainly because there's so much out there. I feel like I've picked the top 4 references for anybody that would like to learn more about it.
Awesome. Cool. Sounds good. Thank you so much, Edwin.
Thank you, Francesco.
Untitled you, and yeah, looking forward to the next session. Awesome.
See ya.
Cool. So moving next, so we have Konstantinos. So just to recap for the people that just joined, so Konstantinos with SafeSend. These guys basically won the June developer cook-off, and basically like we are running this monthly hackathon hosted in Aquest, and you can basically like build something depending on the kind of like the month, and we're having different like partners and bounties, so you can and I think like around every month we are having around like 400 like participant, around like 50 top submissions, and I think like for was quite hard the June one, and I think like it's super interesting that you also like joined our call, Konstantinos, to show what you built, and so feel free also like to share your slide. Do you want to share your slide?
I will share my screen.
Perfect. And feel free to introduce yourself. You know, normally in the hackathons, specifically, like people are not sleeping for 48 hours. I hope like you had some sleep in this month hackathon, and yeah, it's great. Looking forward to this demo. And feel free to introduce yourself for all the people that are here.
Hi everyone, my name is Konstantinos Andreou, and I'm excited to be here today to present my project SafeSend. I want to thank the Linea team for this amazing opportunity to share my work and experiences. So, project overview. SafeSend is a decentralized application that helps people transfer Ether, EthCC NFTs, yes, and Croc mint tokens securely. The main goal is to prevent losing funds due to mistakes in entering wallet addresses. So the problem is that many people have lost money by accidentally sending their crypto or their assets to the wrong addresses. The problem not only costs money, but also reduces the trust in blockchain transactions. So I saw the need for a solution that adds an extra layer of security to prevent such errors. So let's move to the demo. SafeSend is a smart contract on the blockchain in Symbolic Linea. And this is the UI, the user interface. I want also to mention that chain analysis estimates that around 3.8 worth of billions of dollars, are lost last year in crypto. So it's a big problem that solves this DApp. And it's actually pretty simple to use it. So you connect your wallet. And you can, let's say we want to send to account 2 from account 1. We just type the receiver address, the amount that we want to send. And we confirm. Now, if we move to the blockchain, we can see the transaction. Just a moment to. Yeah, the transaction is going through the blockchain now. Okay, we see that Ethereum is receiving the smart contract. And in order to claim it, you have to type the receiver address. Not the receiver, sorry, the sender address. So if it's our other wallet or our friend that we send the crypto, we give them our web address. So we go to account 2. We type the receiver address. Let's connect first with the right wallet. Yes, okay. We type the receiver at the sender address. Sorry, the sender. And we click confirm. Okay, we received the Ethereum. Now let's go to scenario that we sent Ethereum, and let's say we mistype the address by accident. So we want to claim back our Ethereum. It could be Krog Mint again or EthCC NFT, by the way. Let's wait for the transaction to go through the blockchain. Okay, this is where it usually goes fast on the blockchain. Anyway, I don't want to spend more time, but the idea is this, that we can click claim back Ether and we can claim back our Ethereum. So if we mistype the address, we can solve this problem. We don't stress anymore. We know we can claim back our Ethereum. And usually people, if they send big amounts in crypto, this is our stress. Like sometimes I'm stressing if I mistype the address and I'm double checking. This DApp can solve this problem. So thank you for your attention, and thanks again to the Linea team for this opportunity.
Thank you, Konstantinos. Quick question: like, what was the how you guys kind of handle the hackathon itself? Like, you started from specific mono repo, you build it from scratch, you use some specific Linea developer tooling or CLIs. How was the process of the decision for tackling this Dev Cook-Off?
So actually, I started this idea in the main Dev Cook-Off hackathon. It was like a smart contract. Then in the June, I upgraded, I make it more securely. I created the user interface. The team has very good mentors that help me with the user interface, giving me tutorials and sending me links how to do it. It was very supportive, and actually it helped me to build it from scratch.
Nice.
It was a very good opportunity for me.
Nice. Any specific challenges that you incurred during the hackathon or during the build, maybe on the backend side or on the front end side?
What took me too long to make it was to connect the user interface with the blockchain, because it was something new for me, the Web3. But I managed through, and the Linea team helped me.
Nice. Yes. Yeah, for also anyone that is planning to hack on the builder, the Linea builder cook-off, you should check it out. We have a specific builder Linea chat called Linea Builders Club, and I think we will share the one slide at the end. We will have also the QR code to join. But basically, we have 1,000 builders very specific to building ecosystem tooling around Linea. And also especially on those hackathon, especially for support specific, right? So we always trying to support as much as we can on the hackathon journey, but also on the product building journey, from deployment to specific use case. I remember back in East Brussels, people were building an attestation service based on Verax, and was really interesting, because it's very specific on attestation, but people really were able to support on this Telegram group. Cool, awesome. So thank you so much. Yeah, Konstantinos. So what's next? What are you building next?
Right now I want to upload it on the mainnet and make sure that it's secure, and then I will move on to the next idea I don't have yet, but I'll find some sure.
Nice.
Thank
Okay,
you.
sounds good. Thank you so much, Konstantinos. And yeah, let's move further to our next part. So Arthur, I will bring you on. So now it's everything like Linea ENS. Let's drop the big news. Let's have some updates on everything ENS. Welcome, Arthur. Feel free to introduce yourself before we are starting. But you're kind of an OG around. I think you've been around quite a long time.
Yeah, thanks for the kind word, Francesco. So, hey everybody, nice to meet you. So I'm Arthur, product manager at Linea, and as Francesco was saying, we have an exciting news today, which is ENS is coming on Linea. So yeah, let's unpack what it means together. Most of you, I guess, know ENS by now, but and it ties perfectly with Konstantinos' presentation at SafeSend, because previously we have these if addresses that are hard to remember, hard to share, error prone, and so how do we make that more user friendly? There is this nice solution which is ENS and lets you have human readable names such as Vitalik.if. And since we thought with the ENS team that was such a nice experience, we worked with them to bring this to the Linea community. And so the news is that you will be now able to register your own Linea.if domain. So for instance, francesco.linea.if today. So to zoom a little bit on what it means and what's different about it, I think the first thing is that it's affordable. Of course, we are on layer 2. If you compare to layer 1, where if you want to buy a ENS domain, it usually costs at least $15 of gas fees. Here, you have just a couple of cents. And in addition to that, there is no registration fees. So it's a really cheap option, and we aim to democratize that to most user possible. The second good point about it is that it's compatible anywhere ENS is supported. So that means that if you are going to your favorite DApp, for instance, I've put a screenshot of Etherscan on the right, you can just use your linea.if domain, and it will reserve normally if the DApp is compatible. Even if you are on other networks, it will work. The solution with this, you have also unique names, of course, you are the owner of the name. It's just like ENS, you have an NFT that you can transfer, you can trade, you can set up your own field, of course. And in addition to that, since it's free and we want to prevent bots and CBILs and so on, we are reserving this experience to users that have proven they are real humans through our Linea proof of humanity system, which enable us to give the domain for free. And last but not least, it's also secure, and it's so important that I will take a full slide to discuss that. But to do so, first I need to talk about name resolution. So name resolution is basically just the process where you have this name and you want to know which address it is associated with. So it's all the process to go from the name to the domain. And the problem actually currently is you want to outsource or let's say manage your ENS domain outside of Ethereum. Usually the name resolution process is the weakest link because you will need to rely on a trusted party, which will provide the information. And the reason for that is that Ethereum cannot just query data outside of Ethereum, or no, it can through the technology called CCIP read or ERC 3668. But usually it relies on a gateway that you see here on the right side of the screen, which is an off-chain service and needs to be operated by a trusted party. So this means that this party, if you give your name to a dApp, the dApp try to find the associated address. This party could give the wrong address and basically steal the funds that were supposed to be sent to you. And of course, we know that most of the gateway are operated by trustworthy entities, but even then, like, there are always the risk of hack, and so like it's a good practice to reduce the attack surface and just make the process fully trustless, and that we did. I will not unpack the full schema, but the thing that is different is that when like Ethereum is asking Linea what is the address that is associated to this ENS name, like our system is not only answering to the question and giving the address, but it's also giving what we call a storage proof. And this storage proof is then verified against the Linea states on L1, which has been verified through the zero knowledge proof process of the rollup. So the bottom line is that this makes the resolution process impossible to tamper and much more secure. So yeah, this is live at the moment on Linea. So yeah, you can just go to names.linea.build and get your own right now. And I want to end with a call to action for developers as well, which is that all that we build is basically open source, reusable, of course audited. And so that means that developer can reuse our implementation of ERC 3668 for their own purpose. And it goes beyond just like resolving ENS name, because it can be, the scope can be broadened to querying any linear data from L1. So just to give some example, you can use it to read Linea Verax attestation from L1 to, if you have an attestation that says that you, for instance, are a human on Linea, you can prove that on Ethereum. So that's super interesting. You can prove that you own some asset on Linea. Of course, you can build your own ENS subdomain registry directly on Linea through this stack, and basically much more interesting use case, everything where you can do something super cheap on Linea, and then just at the end of the day, query the result from layer 1 if you need the information on layer 1. So I will not go in much more detail for this call, but feel free to check our docs. You will find the architecture, workflow, some code examples that you can use to get started and build.
Sounds good. Arthur, question, like there are some questions like, is it will be a proof of humanity criteria?
So it's not a proof of humanity criteria. You don't need that to prove that you are a human, but you need to have a proof of humanity to register a domain. Since it's free, we didn't want like just release this and then have bots like farming thousands and hundreds of domains.
Nice. And you touched a bit on Verax, so that's one of the big use case, right, on the attestation side. Any other like specific use case that you wish people, especially like developer coming in the next hackathon in the next couple of months, you want them to build, like kind of like a wish list of use case that you see that they might be super relevant?
Yeah. Something that I would love to see is maybe the background is that this solution doesn't rely on like any trusted parties or any central parties, and it's all baked into the Ethereum protocol, like it's ERC. And I would love to see like people trying to adapt this solution and not make it work only between Linea and Ethereum, but between Linea and a lot of other chain, so that you will have like true baked in cross-chain compatibility. That would be amazing.
Sounds good. So kind of like interoperability side. And you touched a little bit on the kind of the developer onboarding. Is there like some specific, like, like obviously like people will check out docs, but any specific like tooling that you can interact with those with basically like those specific like ENS tooling?
So no specific tooling, but you will see like we open source a repo with like several packages that can be used for, of course, like creating a front end, creating the gateway that is like an off-chain component with all the smart contracts. We try to make the documentation within the repo as easy to read as possible. So in addition to our doc page, I really encourage like developers that want to learn more to also check the GitHub repo, which is linea-ens.
Nice. So linea.ins. One thing is like I see a comment like it's quite serious for some projects, especially liquidation cases. Does it make sense on the liquidation side?
I'm not sure to see, but I guess what one use case that you could use the CCIP read implementation that we created would be to take Oracle data and put it elsewhere. Like the data that are posted on Linea, you can read them on Ethereum. I don't know about the liquidation part. Of course, you have like some timing consideration to take into account, but it's also a use case.
Sounds good. So, and what developers are expecting next? Like, are we planning to build like some kind of like mono repo to start building? What is happening like in the next couple of months that we can share publicly?
So I would not. So I think like the repo that I share is already in a good place. So I encourage again people to check it. I think we will have soon more information to share about all the exciting things that we are working on the identity and reputation side for Linea. So of course names are important. We have Verax, which provide attestation for identity, and there probably much more. So stay tuned.
Yes. Yeah, let's not forget also the litigation toolkit. I'm very excited to see like people that we're starting building basically the apps with this toolkit deploying on Linea. That will be super interesting. We have a question from Alessio. Does the Linea ENS interfere with the former on mainnet?
Not at all, because what is being done is basically Linea own Linea if, and there is a configuration saying that all the subdomains need to be resolved on Linea. So there is no interference, and all the names that you can register, at least today, with our implementation are like francesco.linea.if, so subdomains of linea.if. So there is absolutely no conflict. And maybe a call to action for developer as well. You can completely, as mentioned, take your own domain. So let's say you own fun.if, you can start like enabling people on Linea to just register like arthur.fun.if and so on, which can be amazing.
That would be fun. I remember like it's a big way since like I remember like what was last year on testnet on the Linea domain, and now being on within like the ENS ecosystem is huge. It's definitely like exciting on the resolver side. Cool. Anything less that you wanna add for developers or for anybody that wanna try it out? Apart, obviously, like checking the domain out.
I think that's all for me. I see a less question. What is the website address for ENS? So again, names with an S .linea.build. .build exactly.
There you are. Yes, just checking it out. I see an ENS girly. I think we have the main one. Cool. I think also like we will do a cool Twitter space in the next couple of weeks on with the ENS team. That will be super exciting, and we will share also the link when it's public. Awesome. Thank you so much, Arthur. Thank you so much. And yeah, looking forward also to more news. I think like this is a big part of the game, especially on the attestation use case side. But there is tons of other like kind of like unleashed use case that we're excited about. Awesome. Thanks, Arthur. And probably like I see you in the Twitter space in a couple of weeks.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys later. Cool. So for our last part that I see we have another like 10 minutes, we will invite Mélen. So Mélen is quite well known in the community, and I will not like bias your intro, but today we will speak about a little bit like what's going on with the Linea culture season. We had a couple of like I think like the last month community call we had Emma that was speaking about kind of like an update, but it's super exciting that we are here today. Culture season is I think is almost over, but feel free, Mélen, to introduce yourself before we're dropping more news.
Yeah, definitely. Hi everyone, super happy to be here. So yeah, as Francesco was saying, I'm Mélen. I'm with the Linea team, and indeed last month we announced some updates about culture season. In the last community call, it was just about to get started. Now it's coming to an end. So as a reminder for people that maybe didn't participate, culture season was an activation that we did where we wanted the entire community to be exposed to every community that we have on Linea, and most of these communities were creators, artists, or in general directly communities that built NFTs. And we wanted to have a place to showcase all of those communities on Linea. So it took form. It took place this month, and it's ending at the end of this week. It was 4 weeks of minting NFTs. So every day you were able to discover a new community, mint their NFTs, and engage with them. And at the end of those weeks, you got the ability to vote for your favorite creator. And those communities, they receive the honorific title of being a Linea guild. And so
was this on Element, right? Am I sharing the right
yes,
link here?
Yes, that is perfect. So the minting happened on various different platforms, and Element has been centralizing essentially all of those artworks into one page where we can directly see them. And so, yeah, people were able to discover a lot of these communities. And now for the final phase, which is going to start later today, people will be able to vote for one more artist. So at the end of every week, we had people vote for the artist that they like the most. That gave us 4 winners, 3 of which have already been announced. So that was eFrogs, Frog Wars, and the last one was Foxy. And we are gonna be made aware of the last name pretty soon, and then starting later today, people are gonna be able to vote for a 5th one, and this time they're gonna have the ability to vote for anyone that hasn't yet won during the entire culture season. So that will lead us to 5 winners, 5 Linea guilds that the Linea community recognized as significant, and that the Linea community wants to see more, basically. So we are currently working and designing ways to engage with those guilds and create fun activations with those. But yeah, this is really the outcome of culture season, which was something that started super community focused and that ends up electing very important communities for us to keep focusing on this. At the end of the day, like, Linea is an ecosystem, and the communities are heavily important to the success of that ecosystem.
And just before we're saying what's coming next, like what was the process like if for a guild to basically like start and be part of this culture season?
Yeah, definitely good question. So what we did is that we reached out to a few creators that we were already engaged with, and then we reach out to a lot of our partners, whether that is minting platforms, whether that is marketplaces, and basically we reach out to a lot of people within the ecosystem, and they got super interested with the idea that we were having for culture season, and they gave us and put us in touch with a very large variety of artists, and that we made a selection trying to balance the different kinds of art and trying to have a cohesive activation.
Makes sense. I really like this question. Like, what are the benefits for the owners of the guilds?
Yeah. So at the moment, this is an honorific title. So it shows that the Linea community recognize you as a very significant Linea community. But stay very tuned, because we are gonna have contests, and we are gonna have activations that we do with those guilds. It's too early for me to announce anything, but we are gonna work a lot with these guilds and engage with them with this.
That's good to know. And Mélen, like, what during like that culture season, like what were the I'm not saying like challenges for people to actually do the culture season itself, but is there like anything like that you think people like were have difficulty to do, or like was one smooth? Like what are the things that we want to learn also like for the next one?
Definitely. So we had a lot of learning experience from past activations that we did. And so like community feedback is always super central to the way we build these things. And so last time that we did something this big, and it was quite a big success as well, was Linea Park. And we had some people within the community comment that maybe it was a bit hard to do, and it was taking a bit of time. And also at the time we didn't have we were not as lucky as we are today, where the gas fees have been heavily improved thanks to the engineering team. So this time for culture season, we really benefited from something that was super straightforward in terms of completing what you needed to do. You went into the website and you were presented with today's artist. You minted that NFT, and you had the ability to join that community. And it was really all about discovering these NFTs and joining those communities. So the flow itself was quite simple. And also thanks to the amazing improvement that the team has done engineering wise, the cost of doing such things was really low. Like we were talking 1 to 3 cents per transaction. So that was very efficient on the cost, and also it didn't have a lot of transactions that you needed to do in order to participate.
Yeah, that's also good to know. And I see like some questions around like, so what's happening next? Are we expecting new Linea seasons coming, or what's the plan there? Or obviously, like, can you disclose something?
Yeah, so in the future we are going to see some activations that we do. I see questions specifically regarding the role that LXP is going to play, and it was announced already in the last AMA that we would not have anything like Linea Park or like culture season where Linea organizes something and it's that intensive. So on that end, Linea like culture season was the last LXP activation created by Linea. We still reserve ourselves the ability to work with partners and have partner campaigns that are way more limited in terms of the earnings you can have, and also about the future of culture season and of the Linea guilds. We will be sharing some information very soon, hopefully during the next community calls, about what these guilds are going to be involved in and what people can do about joining the guilds, about being a part of their success, and further like going into that community and getting involved with the communities.
Sounds good. Yeah, I think I think you touched a little bit like on why kind of this culture season started. What was the process to also like be part of this, and now that is finished, like definitely like people want to see like either result or also like what's coming next. And I think so many like lesson learned also like from Linea Park and all the specific voyages. And I think I'm actually looking, as this is also like a very strong developer community call, I'm definitely looking forward for some voyages focused for developers. I remember that we started something similar with the teams from Aspecta on very specific, like, deploy your dApps on Linea, kind of like a similar thing. But I mean, nothing compare like a culture season kind of like size, right? Cool, awesome. Anything you want to share next, Mélen, that you think make sense for the audience?
No, I like my main call to action really is go see what the artists of Culture Season did. Go follow their Twitter. Go follow their social. Get into the community. Get on chain. See what they are doing, because most of them are cooking super interesting stuff. So really, yeah, like you minted those NFTs. Many artists are giving utility to those NFTs that you minted. It's unlocking access to specific community areas. It's giving access to specific mints that they are doing afterwards. It's a lot of people are building on top of it, which is exactly what we wanted. So yeah, explore the community, be on the socials of the projects, be on chain.
Sounds good. Yeah, be on chain, guys. I think that's a great way also to like finish this part. Awesome. Thank you so much, Mélen, and make sure like people also like are reaching out to you for any follow-up questions. I see also like people answering like, thanks for relying the questions. Sometimes it's hard answering specific question, but I think like that's the goal also for these community calls, so that we are really answering and try to get also like the topic that people are really interested to hear more about. Cool. Thank you so much, Mélen. Let me share my screen and we will do a quick recap. Cool. So I think like we have 2 minutes left. We will go through quickly like through what's happening. So we kind of like dive into like different topics today, and that's the goal of the monthly Linea developer community call. So what's coming next? So we are definitely like into like different next IRL events. So you will have those are kind of like we put out some dates and some links. One thing that I want to also mention, like the Linea YouTube channels, we are trying to keep up with all the videos and workshops that we're doing and upload them as playlists. So you will see a lot of like content being uploaded lately. And then so for both like Tokyo, we're also like throwing like a builder nights, mostly like for developers and builders in the space, both in Tokyo and Seoul, while there is a Korea Blockchain Week. And then what's happening next, like probably like the two biggest milestones for builders in the space are both Token 2049 in Singapore and Bangkok for DEF CON, right? So we're prepping those two big milestones from the Linea side and from the consistency side, and we're super excited to join the community and kind of like enable those great ecosystem like partners and builder to show what they're building. Then for the people also like they're interested in hacking, this is basically like a screenshot of the current Linea Dev Cook-Off. This is happening until end of August. It's a month and a half developer hackathon that is happening online. It's a 10,000 USD in terms of bounty, split by different partners. And yeah, it's open for another 31 days. So our recommendation for any DevRel also like out there, like if you're seeing like teams that are maybe not eligible to some IRL hackathon, but they are willing to hack or deploying on Linea, for example, like you can definitely do that. And this here is the link. We will share the slide a little bit later. But long story short is that you can also like register and submit your dApp directly to the Linea Dev Cook-Off portal in HackWest. Then what's next? The Linea community call is happening in August. As mentioned before, we are bringing also some exciting like Linea updates and ecosystem updates. And then also, like as mentioned before, with Arthur, we will do an ENS space in the next couple of weeks. So also like stay tuned on what's the link to join. Also, important things like if you're building an ecosystem, if you're part of like the like an ecosystem partners, or you're willing just to understand a little bit what's happening around the Linea product updates or the Linea community initiatives, or even like just stay tuned on what's happening around the ecosystem on layer 2s. We have this Linea Builders Club, is a Telegram group specific to builders. And we're also spreading a lot of like news and upgrades for specific like builders out there. And at the same time, you can show what you build. You can show just how you're active in the ecosystem. Cool. And here is a link, and also you can scan your QR code for just getting in the group. And I think that's it. So I want to just mention to everyone, thanks so much for joining our call today. I know it's quite a lot of content. We're trying to really stay under the 1 hour. And we're just 1 minute late. Thanks so much, everybody. And I see you guys. I see you guys next. And in case you guys have further questions, like feel free either to use the Linea Builders group. And yes. Sylvan, I will join. I will add right now the link here on the so that everybody also like has it. There you are. So that's basically the link. I don't know. I think it's not visible, but yeah, we will share the slides afterwards in the Linea Business Club. Cool. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for everyone that also like made this community call happening. Thanks so everybody that also like was part of the talks. And I see you guys next month. See you.